Okay, Antonio, here is video number 2. My camera phone conked out halfway through. So cosmetically, this is the watch that's running well. This is the watch that's running really poorly. I can tell you somebody's been inside this one for a few reasons. One, the crystal isn't that bad despite the wear everywhere else. But also the tops of the markers, all the markers have been worn down to the brass. So someone was cleaning this and they weren't really super careful about this. They took those markers down to the brass. Handloom is also pretty degraded. So because this is no longer original, that kind of removes a barrier to doing more serious work. So it's something that you can think about. I mean, it's up to you. We'll do as much or as little as you want, but having loom this degraded is not very appealing. But then to combine it with damaged indices, that's sort of a problem too. This is one of my 6105s. This watch was in far worse condition than yours. It was gnarly. It's only about 900 units away from yours. It's also from April 1968. But I restored it. I reloomed it completely. I cleaned everything. I did a full movement service, put in a new crystal, and that's what yours could look more like if you want that done. It's fairly deep dive, but I mean, cosmetically, you've already got issues because of the dial. Okay. Still getting used to this setup. About this watch, this watch is cool for a few reasons. Yeah, it's not running particularly well, but it's completely original. I can see from this hazed crystal, even if you hadn't told me what your father did for a living, I would know that a welder had owned this watch, because there's all these deep pits in the crystal, and that happens when you get the hot metal splashing on the crystal. That's one of the things that happens. You get these like pock marks. Both watches are missing their loom windows, their little pips here, so I'm going to have to hunt up those. They aren't made separately. I'm going to have to basically source them out of an older rotating ring from some other model and put them in. On this watch, the dial looks pretty good. Hands are a little darkened. I don't know necessarily that I would reloom that. It might just be patinaed, in which case I would probably leave it be. Both watches need to be deeply cleaned. I can get a replacement crown that's very good. I would recommend that. This crown I can rebuild. I can put a new seal in there. I'm one of the only 2 people basically in the world who is doing that commercially. Nobody else does that. And I strongly recommend doing that. Seals, service, crystal, I would recommend a full reloom on this one, but I'm not going to force you to do it, but it's something you can certainly think about. I don't know what I would do with this. I wouldn't touch the dial. Hands, I would consider depending how bad they are. But then when you reloom the hands but not the dial, then you get this mismatch. The daytime color will match, but at night the hands will glow, but the dial won't. So it kind of looks funky, but it definitely might be an improvement. Clean, new crystal, service, lower arbor port repair. There might be more going on inside this movement. I'm not sure yet, but it's rare to see one running so badly. The only other thing I see is that the retention spring inside this is incorrect. This is for another model. It's not for this one. It's one of the reasons why this is not attached to your watch. It's the wrong thing. I might have to make one. I don't know. That's it. Cool watches. They're cool to see. Okay, thank you so much.